Hello, hello, hello. Good to see you. I'm back. You get fairy dust. I get fairy dust. Emily gets fairy dust. Okay, so I was doing my series on talking about how much the Harry Potter books helped me heal, and how I use a lot of tools from these books in my life for my recovery. It's actually a very crucial part of my recovery. And then something happened, and J.K. Rowling, and we know what she did. And very disappointed, very sad, had to come to terms with her views. And what I came away with is that I couldn't deny how her books have saved my life. Like that, I just couldn't. And I talked to a couple people about whether I should proceed or not, because I didn't want to promote her stuff, but because I don't want to hurt trans people. And I couldn't, there's a lot of trans people that are advanced bitches that follow me, and I could never break their hearts. You know, I would never, that's not who or what I am. And so I took a break for a really long time, and I thought I was done. I thought it was like, okay, that was what it was, and now we have to move on and do something else, which I carried on. But it kept coming up because I wanted to do it. And when shit goes down for me, I have to listen to the Harry Potter books. Jim Dale is like a therapist for me. And they will always, well, I'm assuming they will always speak that because they speak to a certain part of my psyche. Art does that, symbols do that, and so it just resonates with my psyche. And so I was listening this morning, and I heard a quote that I had never heard before. You know how that happens. You read it a million times and it never sticks out to you because it wasn't for you then. You were attached to something else when you were on that level of healing, and now you're on this level of healing. And so I heard a quote this morning, and I was like, oh my God, that's so fucking amazing. That is so neat. And that's when I'm like, I'm gonna do them again. I'm gonna start the videos again. And we'll see how it goes. We'll see, if people respond by feeling hurt or let down or disappointed. But before I had that idea, before I had this inspiration, I had tried to figure out advanced bitches solve problems. How could I do it? And then I had an inspiration. And so that inspiration was, my YouTube, I don't have enough followers or enough people haven't watched long enough, which is great. It doesn't matter. I only care about you that's watching. So I'm not really interested, I don't need it to be monetized or anything like that. And so, but what I thought about was, any money that I make from these videos, the Harry Potter videos, I will give them to an institution or a charity that supports the rights of trans people. And so I thought by doing that, I could, turn something painful into something beautiful. And I understand that may not be enough for some people. So I'm interested in your thoughts below. Like, just comment if you find this. I'm interested. I'm not gonna say that I will respond one way or another. I just, I guess I want to know if I'm on the right track. But that's what I've come up with. That I can proceed until she makes amends. that this is a way that we can still collect the magic from the books and continue to heal while, while having this cognitive dissonance go in the background. But maybe this is another way to like heal that. So there's that. And we left off with Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. And I'm on page 11. And I was talking about Professor Dumbledore and McGonagall in the video I did before this. And I don't know that I talked much about McGonagall, but I just need to say that I collect wands, and McGonagall's was my first wand. I may have mentioned that before, but McGonagall's was my first wand. My husband gave it to me before Universal started making the wands. He found somebody online. It's a wooden wand, and right now it sits in my therapist chair. It's tucked underneath, and it sits there because I want to be as good as McGonagall. I'll never be a Dumbledore. I may be a Dumbledore to some people, but in my mind, being McGonagall is, I'm over the moon if I can be anything like her. I love that she, clearly, I would annoy her in person. But I found the lovableness of McGonagall to be just the best. One of my favorite moments of hers is in the end. What is it? Locomotor. I forget what it is. I forget the spell. But when she brings and I don't know if it's in the book. I don't think it's in the book, but it's in the movies. And she makes the statues at Hogwarts come to life, and to protect Hogwarts. And she just says, I always wanted to do that. I'm like, she's in there. Just so fucking adorable. And another example of that is when she scoops up Harry when he thinks he's in trouble for getting on the broom the first time, scoops him up and takes him, and he's not in trouble at all. He is indeed a seeker. So today on page 11, this is the first time that the reader learns about a darkness. And McGonagall says, my dear professor, surely a sensible person like you can call, he says, my dear professor, Dumbledore says, my dear professor, surely a sensible person like you can call him by his name. All this you-know-who nonsense for 11 years, and I have been trying to persuade people to call him by his proper name, Voldemort. Part of therapy for me, so this whole series is about Harry Potter and the psychological arts. This whole series has been for me about how to make that I learned more about psychology through these books and my psyche than through graduate school or my bachelor's in psychology. Because this book teaches me that we must name. We must name. And that has been one of the most impactful things for me to have my recovery, to have my healing, to have my life back, is to name the psychological damage that has been done to me and the psychological issues that I have. To name them has been crucial. And so the first time I say, like, I can't stop binging. I do this thing with food. I binged on it my whole life, my whole childhood, my whole, until I started throwing up. And then I saw this magazine thing. I thought that I was fucking nuts. Like fucking the darkest of the dark to do some fucked up shit like that. And then I see this magazine article, and this is in the 80s. It was in a magazine, and it was an ad, and it said bulimia. And I'm like, say what? Excuse me, what? to know that I have something that other people have had made such a difference. When I first went into therapy, you know, you have an eating disorder. So what? That's what this is? That whole overeat, just when I thought I was, quote unquote, this was my thought, it's not a correct word or incorrect or whatever, but I thought I was just fat. That I actually had a disorder that was causing these things. It made me, oh, that makes sense to me. And remember, only truth resonates. And so to name it and then to have that name resonate makes all the difference. To start to hear from therapists that what I'm talking about is childhood trauma, that what I'm talking about has a name, perfectionism, that what I do with people has a name, codependency, that how, you know, and so then fast forward into the fucking 90s, the first time, I don't think I heard about them until the 2000s. Freeze mode. Wait, what? That's a thing? I thought I was just a lazy asshole. Like, I thought I was just lazy and gross and a couch potato and all this other shit. To name it, oh, that's me, I do that. I don't have memories of childhood. And a therapist named that's called dissociation. It's a thing. That's a thing. To find out personality disorders were a thing. Oh, that's been the issue all along. Like, oh, addiction's a thing. You're powerless. I am? Oh, that's such good news. And that there's a solution? Oh, that's great. Like, naming shit is crucial. That's why, for me, it's in my Bitchifesto that naming dysfunctions, like calling out not dysfunctions, dynamics. We name them. We understand them. Bait and switch. Passive aggression, to understand that's a thing helps us not get hooked by the thing. By calling this person instead of like, you know who, this larger than life thing, this you know, you're not able to speak its name because then you won't get recovery from it. No. Dumbledore, our mentor here, says, even, and to somebody even advanced, I can't tell you the number of people that are so fucking smart and are brilliant. And I say, that thing that you're talking about, that's passive aggression. Oh, no. That's not, that person's not being intentionally this or that. That thing must not be named. They can't see it, they can't do it. So even this advanced bitch, McGonagall, was kowtowing to it. I can't name it. It's too big to be named. And for the first time, and this is only page 11, like he's saying, name it, bitch. Like, we got to name this shit. And so that helped me understand the naming of a symbol, the naming of, my dog is snoring. Do you hear her? Just a little sigh. To name something gives us a pathway to follow to heal it. So I am a bitch that will name a dynamic from the jump. I will name it. I will always name it. I will name my shit. I will, I'm going to name it. And I'm not going to pretend I don't know it. So Voldemort. Voldemort is the name of this darkness. That's the fucking name. And we're going to deal with Voldemort. Also something that's not, and again, something that's not named cannot be solved. So we're going to solve this fucking problem. We're going to solve. And that you must name the things in your life. You must start naming the dynamics. You must start knowing what you know. You must start naming these things in order to heal. Name it. You have to name it. Is what I learned from Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. and my therapist. But this made me understand, like, oh, so it must be named. So we're not gonna like not name these dynamics. You know, like I can't tell you how many people have resisted like calling their parent an alcoholic when the person had a perfectly, that, you know, was able to function great at work, succeed at work. I can't do that. It's like, well, let's just look at the behaviors. All the behaviors fall under somebody who, you know, the behaviors of an alcoholic seem to be very clear here. The behaviors of the narcissist seem to be very clear here. The behaviors of whatever, the depressive person, let's look at the behaviors. Let's name the behaviors, and then we can work backwards. You know, I'm not going to make somebody call their dad a narcissist or their mom a narcissist or their dad an alcoholic or their mom an alcoholic. But we do need to name that these behaviors fall under this realm of addiction. We just do need to name them. And some people can't do that. And that is okay. That is okay. Everybody in their own time. Everybody in their own time. McGonagall, 11 years later, still couldn't use it in her own time. At some point, she starts using it. And the resistance to everybody in the book, I'm assuming that the assumption here is you've read all the books and seen all the movies. Like, that's my assumption here. So that understand that the whole thing will be spoiled for you. Shit, I forgot what I was going to say. The resistance everybody has to saying his name, kowtowing to the fear. Of course your father who's an alcoholic or your mother who's an alcoholic doesn't want you to say that name. Of course. The resistance. Of course the narcissist parent doesn't want you to call them out on their narcissism. Do not dare name it. And so when we start to name it, it's uncomfortable. And that is a pattern you see throughout the entire series, including all the movies. You see the resistance, the complete discomfort to sharing it. So I hope you found this helpful. I hope you're glad I'm back. Love you. Bye. Bye. Oops, sorry.